So, let's talk about managing capacity when faced with variable demand. So demand often changes over time, and firms can adopt different strategies to cope. So on our graph here we've got time on the x-axis and capacity on the y-axis. If this is our forecast of demand, the simplest strategy we can approach is a level capacity plan. That is, we don't change either the space we have available or the people we have rostered to work for us. It all remains the same. This is very conceptually simple. So capacity can be changed in response to demand over time. So again, here's our forecast of demand. One option we have is to have capacity leading demand. That means we always make sure we've got enough capacity spare, so when forecast demand increases, we have the capacity to meet it. That's potentially costly because remember, forecasts are rarely accurate. Another option we have is to have capacity lagging demand. So whatever the demand is, we always then provide capacity to meet it, but our capacity is always running at 100%. If we consider the example of shopping in a supermarket, often all the tills are busy, and when demand is increased, with 2 or 3 people waiting at a till, they'll open another one, so all their tills are always busy. These are chase demand plans. You don't have to just work on capacity, you can influence demand. So if this is our forecast for demand, well, how can we change that? Assuming we run a simple level capacity plan, we're going to have too much capacity at this point. We're going to have too little capacity here. So really we want to increase demand at this point and decrease demand here. There's a number of ways we can do that, but for some examples, we can have different prices or services we can promote, market, or we can use appointments or scheduling. For instance, to level the demand against capacity, a dentist schedules you for an appointment, as does a hairdresser. Likewise, pubs and bars might use different prices, happy hours, for instance, to bring people in when it's otherwise empty, or promotions and marketing to attract people. Likewise, they might put the prices up or increase door charges at busy points. Firms usually try and match demand and capacity, but that's not easy. Most firms use a number of different approaches, a mixed plan, based on what we spoke about before. If you use yield management, that's a profit maximizing approach. It usually requires the ability to overbook. So aeroplanes or some hotels, for instance, might take more bookings than they have space, and in that case they're relying on a number of people dropping out so that their capacity and their demand are matched, and actually they make additional profit. But either way, you have to have a plan and a strategy. Of course, sometimes you'd want demand to be greater than capacity. Why would you want that? Well, if you consider art, cars, sometimes demand being greater than capacity allows you to charge a premium and make your product or service more desirable.